Hello, this is a check-in. It's my 3-month sober video. Bit bad lighting. Honestly, I've just done 3 shifts and I'm tired and I can't be bothered to set up the proper camera and decent lighting. So I hope you don't mind that the lighting is a little pants, but it's really about what I have to say rather than what I look like, I think. So really just letting you all know, those that have been following, and thank you for following and thank you for your comments and all of that stuff and subscribing. I am still sober. I know I haven't posted for a little while. It might have been a couple of weeks. I've had a really nice holiday. I spent time with my mum and her partner in Spain. Really lovely time. Gorgeous house that we rented, and we had the use of a pool, and I was able to go walking every day and the weather was fantastic. I did not drink, so good for me. I was I don't know if I was tempted. I don't know if I'd say I was exactly tempted, but I think the situation of sort of hanging out with family lends itself to sometimes wanting a little drink, sort of to take the edge off a little bit. But I didn't do it, and I'm really pleased with myself for that. We went out for meals every night into pubs, and I stuck with tonic water or Diet Coke every time, or sometimes a 0 alcohol beer, and that was all fine. So yeah, I am still sober, still feeling good, still haven't had a hangover in 2024. That feels great. And yeah, I just wanted to recap on what benefits I've seen, and I also thought it would be good to tell you what I expected, the benefits I expected that I didn't see, if that makes sense. Because I think before you stop drinking, if you start watching videos like this, so many people will have so many great things to tell you about not drinking, but then you can get your expectations up quite high. And honestly, I thought if I quit drinking, I would become a supermodel, a morning person, really slim. Maybe I would, I don't know, elevate my career. But, you know, of course it's only 3 months. I think we can say goodbye to the becoming a supermodel. And I think my biggest it's not really a pro or a con. Because quite a lot of people lose weight when they quit drinking, I was thinking I would be one of those, and I was not. So I think the fact that my drinking was always with spirits, slimline drinks, so gin and tonic, vodka and Coke, very occasionally would be a beer. Most of the time it was slimline drinks. And so I think then I used to walk a lot more because I was walking to the pub. And I think, yeah, I was never going to lose weight just by quitting drinking. I really thought I'd probably just drop a whole stone and keep it off with no effort, no change to my diet, but that did not happen for me. So if you are, thinking of quitting alcohol, obviously it's always a good idea, because to stop putting poison in your body is, of course, a really good idea, and there's so many pros. But for me, losing weight didn't happen, and I accept that might be you. Now, if you're a fellow with a massive beer gut and you sit in the pub every single night drinking beers, you're bound to lose weight. You're going to lose weight really quickly, and I'm jealous. But I mean, yeah, I don't have a massive beer gut. It's a bit of a wobbly belly, but it's more chocolate related than beer, I think. So yeah, I would say have your expectations in check, and keep your eye on the more important things. And of course, losing weight is kind of a superficial thing, unless you've got health issues, in which case you need to take your weight into hand anyhow. But don't expect you're definitely going to lose weight, because you might not. But there's so many benefits, so don't worry. there's loads of benefits. I think the amount of time that I have on my hands now that I'm not spending my time drinking, because when you're drinking, you're not doing anything else. Whereas, you know, I could have sit here in the evening, watch telly, but I could also decide to do something else and be able to do it. Whereas when you're drinking, you're generally not really that capable of doing much else, or you don't feel like it, or it's just like a stupid idea. Like, you don't exercise when you're drinking generally, do you? Whereas I could potentially get up and go for a walk if it was a nice evening. Not that I have done, but we are still, it feels like we're still in the midst of winter, although we have had some nice spring days. And then I would go for an evening walk. So yeah, what I'm trying to say, I'm rambling really, is the time that I have on my hands now is massive, and time is the most important thing that we have. If you think about it, that is the most important thing. Yes, your health, of course, and money helps for a comfortable life, but time, some of us, we don't even know it, and we could potentially all be on very limited time. So we never know when we're going to pop our clogs, and I now have so much more time to spend doing what matters to me. And guess what? I don't forget what I've done because I'm not pissed. So that's a really good thing. What I've noticed is other people, when they're pissed, are really annoying, and that makes me realise I must have been really annoying for quite a lot of the time. So yeah, I don't really feel any need to drink. I don't feel any desire to drink, especially when I see drunk people. And it's funny, when you're drunk yourself, drunk people aren't annoying because you're all in that same wavelength where everything's funny, like what nothing was funny, but everyone's laughing, and you know, all the whole repetitive conversations. And I just think, when I used to go down the pub and I'd chat to different people, the same people, because it was a regulars kind of place, and I must have had the same conversations over and over with the same people and not even realised it. And another thing, oftentimes I can have a heart-to-heart with someone in a pub, overshare way too much information, and then the next time I see them, don't even remember their name or what we spoke about. And you just think, yeah, it's sort of embarrassing. So obviously the positive of that is that none of that's happening anymore. I think I initially found it slightly lonely because I wasn't getting that social activity of going down the pub. But I think I was lying to myself about what that was about anyway, because I mean, I was just getting drunk and yeah, chatting to people and not even remembering chatting to them anyway. So does that even count as social interaction if you're that pissed that you barely remember any of it? And yeah, so I don't know. I think I got used to not going to the pub quite quickly, but it was one of the things that I definitely missed at the beginning. And of course I could still go and not drink, but the idea does not, yeah, it's not appealing. It's really not. I think the profound thing, the major thing for me, as someone who has relied on alcohol for my confidence, and as someone who has had a really shit history with relationships and has always had alcohol on my dates when I'm getting to know people, or got to know them because I'm out drinking, and that's never worked out for me because I've always had alcohol clouding my judgment of every stage of dating. And it's quite profound to try dating sober. Yes, it's nerve-wracking not having that to loosen you up, doing that. You got, my hand is off camera, but like not having that to loosen you up, and especially when you're going to meet someone for the first time, but really through the whole stage of getting to know someone, because we all know there are certain stages and there are certain things you might want a little bit of alcohol to give you a little bit more confidence with. And I have been dating someone now for about 5 weeks or so, 5 or 6 weeks. So we've been chatting at least since we first started chatting. And what's amazing is I'm proud of myself for doing that sober, for that, because obviously that was a hurdle in itself. But I think what's amazing is that with this clarity that I have, I'm not making stupid mistakes like texting drunk things, you know, like overly emotional or, you know, crap, because that's something that I think we can all do when we're a bit pissed and we just feel a bit lonely, is we can send a text to someone that maybe is a bit too much, or you know what I mean, maybe not a perfectly appropriate or elegant text message. Not that I'm now, you know, get your minds out of the gutter. That even when I'm drunk, I never sent pictures of my body parts to people. I would like to clarify, but I think you know what I mean. You get a bit lonely, you might send something that you regret in the morning. So obviously that's outlawed. That's outlawed. That's ruled out. And I have been able to be fully present and really pay attention and notice things and look out for things that I should have been looking out for when I was drunk dating, but used to just I'm certain that there were loads of red flags in my past relationships, so I just let go because I'd had a few drinks and thought, it don't matter. But on this occasion, this person doesn't drink either, and I think that was a big part of this as well, because I didn't really want to do online dating. I hate it. I've never had good results, but I think what happens is I get a bit lonely and I do it. Anyway, I did it, but this time around, because I wasn't drinking when I posted the profile, I did specifically made a big point of the fact that I don't drink, and I'm looking for someone who either doesn't drink or only drinks very rarely, because I know I'm so easily influenced. If I was to get together with someone who's a drinker, I would be drinking. And I've said before in previous videos, I do not consider myself an addict, but I was reliant on alcohol for social situations. And I was a bit of a binge drinker. But yeah, if I'm around, you know, if I've got a boyfriend and he's drinking every night, I know damn well that I'm going to end up drinking. So that was the thing I've stipulated. And what I found was that it cut down the amount of people that messaged me, I think. And I've still got a lot of weirdos messaging me. I think most people do get a ton of weirdos message them. But I think it narrowed it down a little bit, because a lot of blokes, if they are big drinkers, probably don't want a sober girlfriend or whatever, because it sounds boring probably. And they're going to think, well, I like going out to the pub 3 times a week, or you know, I like drinking every night. And so I think it sort of cut that out. I just think that it has completely reframed how I see online dating, and I think maybe a part of the problem was me and the fact that I was drinking. And yeah, dating and drinking, they feel like they go together, like, I don't know, coffee and cake. They feel like they go together. Like you really, that's what you want. You really want that. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to date with drink because that was safe for me. That felt safe. But actually, doing it without, as seems to, and I don't want to, you know, don't want to speak too soon. It's still very early doors in this particular dating scenario that I'm in at the moment. But it seems to have been the ideal thing, because I've met a decent person who is showing no red flags, who seems to be mentally stable, much better than, he's not just mentally stable, emotionally mature, decent, proper man. So whether it works out or not, I definitely met a decent person online dating, and the only thing that changed is, it was a huge thing, is me not drinking and me putting it right out there. I'm not looking for a drinker. So yeah, I'd say that was the main learning curve, or the biggest hurdle, yet the biggest sort of positive outcome. But there's tons of positive outcomes. As I said, loads of free time, more productive, slightly less grumpy in the mornings, feel generally healthier. Talking of health, I don't know if I mentioned this one before. I was hoping that I've got bowel disease, and I was hoping that by not drinking that would improve. I'm on medication for it anyway, so it's under control, but I still have some symptoms on a daily basis, which I would obviously rather not, but such is life. I really thought that by not drinking that might have got a bit better, but that hasn't really had any effect. So although of course alcohol is not good for your stomach, or anyway, it's not good for anything, so you know, it's not good to drink anyway. But I was kind of hoping that by not drinking my symptoms might have improved a bit more, but that hasn't happened. So I've got to keep it real here. You know, it's not all like sunshine and rainbows, but I mean, that's not a negative either. It's one thing that didn't improve that I thought it might. That's all. There are no negatives here. It's nothing bad that has come from not drinking. Nothing. And that's kind of a good thing. It's not kind of a good thing. That is a really good, I don't know, I felt emotional for a second and I can't explain why. I guess I'm proud of myself, because I never would have thought I could do it. I just had this tipping point, this moment. So my hands are up to stuff out off camera. Had this tipping point, had this moment, and decided to quit. And I had no idea at that point I would have lasted even the month, let alone 3 months. So very proud of myself. So I do think my self-esteem has improved, my confidence, because I have had to face social situations without a drink, and I've done all right. Nothing bad happened. Don't get me wrong, sometimes sitting in a pub and seeing people having a little drink, mildly tempting, but not to the degree that I want to do it. It's still there, deep buried inside my head, that's the thing to do. That's what we do. This species called human beings, especially here in the Western world, drinking alcohol is ingrained as it's part of every part of our lives, from the moment we become adults, or even before we become adults. It's how we celebrate, it's how we commiserate, it's everything in between. It's how we let our hair down, it's how we have fun. And yeah, so it's sort of linked to everything. I imagine summer, I think of sitting in a pub garden with a drink, or going to an outdoor venue of some sort, a gig with a drink. Everything is always like imagined with a drink, and it's like the drink makes everything better, but we know for a fact it does not. So this video is really not what I wanted it to be. I didn't mean to just come and go off on tangents and stuff, but I have. So I've got a choice now. I can just delete this and try again, or I'll just leave it up because it doesn't matter. You're getting just an honest chat from a person who's not drunk for 3 months, and hopefully it inspires you if you're thinking of quitting drinking, or if you already have quit drinking, just to hear me say that there is nothing negative at all that I've experienced through not drinking. All I've experienced is good stuff, feeling better, feeling a bit more, not a lot, a bit more energetic. Just not being hungover, not waking up and thinking, oh shit, what did I do last night? Not throwing up. So embarrassing, but how many times I threw up when I was drinking is quite a lot. Usually in the morning, not so much at night, although if it was really bad, it could be at night. But oftentimes in the morning, my hangovers were, I get very nauseous and I can't eat and I can't keep liquid down. So I'll be massively dehydrated, so dehydrated. But if I tried to drink, I throw it back up. And I can't eat because my mouth is so dry. Like I try and eat toast, but it's all like ganky in my mouth and I can't even swallow it. So the only way I could try and sort of start to get better, because you can't get better until you've got some hydration and some food in your stomach. So I would have to sit there, I'd probably be awake for half the day, barely doing anything. And eventually I'd make a slice of toast, get some squash, and I would take a tiny bite of toast and then little tiny sip of squash, and I'd force it down. And it would take me about an hour to eat a slice of toast and a bit of squash. And hopefully if I kept that down, then this is another reason why I think I haven't lost weight actually, is because my hangovers were, I'd barely eat anything on the day I had a hangover. So that probably overcompensated for the calories I drank the night before. So that's partly probably why I haven't lost weight, because I don't have nauseous hangovers where I can barely eat anything all day. So anyhow, I'm going to cut this now, but just know that it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. And if you're doing it, then well done you. Pat yourself on the back. You deserve it. It's a tough choice to make. It's not easy to make that choice and to stick to that choice, especially if you do have some addiction issues. Then of course I can't even imagine, because it's tough, because everywhere you look, on the TV, in films, in, you know, just walking down the high street, in bars, everywhere you look, there's alcohol, and it is very, very difficult to quit. So well done you, well done me. Let's all stick together and support each other. I'll catch you, probably leave it a couple of weeks because I clearly don't have too much to say.